What is your knowledge of different races?
Well, I know they exist. I know that there are, of course, Caucasian people, black people, mixed race people, Japanese people. Wait, do those count as another race? Apparently they do, but
Is racism recent?
I would say, if we're looking at every, like time is just everything from the dawn of time, yes, it's very recent. There was no concept of race if you go far back enough. It's just everyone was a person.
I think this generation, racism, like in olden times, they used to do it because I think they had no mentality, like not being rude.
do you believe that people are nurtured with racism, or they are naturally racist?
Well, I think people are nurtured into it, because when you're born, you don't even know what race is. You learn about it through the years. It can't just be in you when you're born, because you don't know what it is. You learn it. So I think it's nurtured. It's the way you're brought up, what you learn, what your parents teach you to like, what they dislike and instill in you. I think for most people, maybe even everyone that are racist, it's nurture, how they've been nurtured, how they've been brought up. What do you think about different races?
I feel indifferent to them. I'm definitely not somebody who will automatically hate another race unless they give me an actual reason to hate them. A very valid one at that. Like if they support murder.
Okay, so if, say for instance, a white person attempted to murder you, and maybe would you hate all white people?
No, I just hate murderers. Do you think everybody is a little bit racist in their nature, and do you think this is just in human nature that this happens?
Well, I think not everyone. Quite lots of people are racist, but I think maybe a reason is because growing up in, say, the 60s to 90s, people were just brought up to be racist. Like, say, when people went to a football match, they called black people insulting names, they threw food at them and called them monkeys and stuff. And I think maybe some people are racist because for most of their life they've been brought up to be, their parents they brought them up to be, and maybe now they don't do it anymore, but maybe some people are brought up to be. Other people, maybe they just don't like other races and maybe they'll stay that way forever. I don't think everyone is racist. I just think maybe people are for different reasons, but I don't think everyone is. I think maybe most people in the world are. But there are quite a lot of people in the world that aren't racist.
How does racism affect you day to day?
Well, it affects me by looking at the newspaper or reading articles from the internet or watching TV. It affects me my day-to-day life when I'm arriving at college or leaving at college, because people are really different. People don't understand that because they hurt other people's feelings and that's it.
Well, it doesn't affect me most of the time, but when it does show up, or when I hear about it, then yeah, I do feel kind of upset and sort of mad that it's happening.
But you see, some people be racist about my religion as well, about Alevism. They say that, you guys, like, your religion is this, that. You guys argued with Muslims, this, that. But there actually be Muslim people be rude to Kurdish religion. They always push us behind, and they still do this. And I think it should stop.
Well, as a young black male, I haven't experienced it like as harshly as it was, say, when my parents were around and teachers. But I've experienced it a bit. I've been stopped by the police a couple times. I've been asked questions like where am I going, what am I doing. It's not around as much as it was when say our teachers and parents were younger, but it's still there. We have more subtle racism now.
Why do you think the police stopped you?
Well, I know why. They actually told me, but the way they did it, I think, was cruel. I was riding not my own personal bike, an OFO bike. So about 3-4 years ago, there were these black and yellow OFO bikes. You could download the app from App Store, iOS Store, and you paid with your bank card to use them. I think it was something like £7 a day, or £7 for about half an hour, something like that. And I was riding one, and back then the bikes, they had this sort of lock on the wheel, so you had to pay. But the one that I found, the lock was removed, and I was riding it sort of around Dalston, and then I was just riding. I stopped to look at something on my phone, and a policeman grabbed my arm and sort of pulled me over. And then he asked me questions like, why are you riding this? Where are you going? That sort of thing. And then when I sort of said to him, why are you grabbing me? He said, you match the description of somebody on an OFO bike that has rode past people and snatched their phones and cycled off. I think they didn't even tell me. I was riding, I stopped, and they just grabbed my arm and sort of pulled me. They told me why, but I still think maybe they could have said stop and show me the badge first, rather than just sort of grab my arm. Well, when they just grabbed my arm and sort of slightly pulled me, I didn't like that, because I was literally on my phone, and I didn't actually see him. I just felt some guy pulled me, and I was literally about to push them away, but then he grabbed me, said I'm a police officer. I said why I haven't done anything, and I just told you what happened. But I did feel a bit maybe shocked that he just grabbed my arm first, and I don't know, initially I did think to maybe push him.
No, really. I mean, I haven't heard of anything as racism towards white people. I've never really heard of that. I may have experienced ageism before, but that's not been very often. Mainly people just assume that I'm a bad person because I wear hoodies at times.
Okay, that seems more like a stereotype of younger people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that is just as important as racism. Older people just assume if younger people wear hoods, they're gonna rob you or attack you or do something criminal.
What does racism mean to you, Ty?
When someone else is being very rude and nasty to someone else because they're different from them.
Okay, thank you. It's not managed properly. It's like people doing stuff like it's hatred basically. Don't want to be with each other, or don't want to live in a community with peace, because that's what racism comes with. It's not one word, it's a big bubble. It's like different categories.
Most racism you see are police, sort of white male police stopping young, sometimes a bit older black men for no reason, or maybe because they match a description. They match a description of somebody who's been doing illegal activities in the area. And what I've seen sometimes is they treat them quite harshly. They have sometimes a dog that sniffs them for illegal substances, and this is in a public area. Like, I saw this happen once outside Dalston Junction, and some people were just watching him, and he looked quite, I suppose, upset, embarrassed, maybe a bit angry that they were searching him in public. And I think mostly it looks like that. White police officers searching mostly black, but it can be sometimes Asian, just color, people with different skin color in public in a rude way, and just not having consideration for them and not doing it in a private area.
It's like, because people are black, they think they're in gangs. That's not right. Every human's different. Okay, some people are naughty, but no, you should not judge people up because of their colour. And like when they go to Tesco's, they keep looking at them because they're gonna think they're gonna do something because they're black. Like, we all come from the same culture. We was all born from the same place. We're all humans. So I think racism is not a good thing whatsoever.
Well, nowadays you have what's called subtle racism. So they do it less obvious. So say you may go on the bus and you may sit down and a white person just gets up and walks a good distance away from you because maybe they don't want to be near you. They're worried they might, I don't know, catch something. So that's what's called subtle racism. It's not so obvious, but it still hurts, I think. That's what you have more now, subtle racism.
My last question. What's your opinion on racism after today?
I mean, there's one answer to that, or there's two answers. You're either a degenerate who doesn't deserve air, or you don't like racism. It's pretty cut and dry.
It's just a very, very cruel act of just basically going and abusing or just hurting somebody over in their race, which that is just not alright.
Yeah, I agree. Just insulting or having thinking a way about someone just because of their skin colour.
So, Joseph, does race actually matter?
In the grand scheme of things, no, I don't think race matters at all. Everyone is the exact same on the inside, unless you're, I guess, a xenomorph and you have green blood. But even then, I feel as though that goes beyond race and a little bit more towards alien contact. And
it will make that person really upset, so they need to think about the person that they're saying. And